I had to record something because I just was at the Amish Hickernell Deli, one of the places that I have for a delivery. And, it's been sort of odd lately because it's all talking about hunting and killing and hunting and killing and how big the deer was and how tasty the meat is and all this kind of stuff that I hear. And as I walk in, I smell their smoker, like smoking some kind of meat, and on the door, try our new meats, and I'm just like, oh boy, and I'm already sort of in a empathetic mood today. Like, not mood, but it's just my signal's really strong and I'm just feeling everything. So I walk in and he's like, so how's everything going? And I'm like, well, I just sat at the table, and I ate. It was really nice with my parents, and he's like, eat a lot of turkey? And now it's like, nah, I don't really eat meat, and I just whatever. And then that just brought up the whole whatever, and he's like, well, I do go hunting, and he's super Jehovah, because that's all he follows, and he's like. And I was like, I don't know, but see, here's the weird thing that, I know I'm trying to put anybody down or offend anybody. I was like, but here's the thing, we all know it's wrong to kill. I'm like, that doesn't just mean people. I mean, yes, you can see a deer walking in the field, and like, oh, wow, isn't that a beautiful creature, majestic? Oh, yeah, it's so beautiful. And then be like, but I want to shoot it so I can eat it because it's tasty and I like it. I mean, it's sort of sad that people will be like, oh, it's okay to kill that because I want to eat it. I need to eat it. You don't need to eat it. Are you kidding me? You don't need to eat a deer. You don't need to eat meat. Tons of people went their whole life without ever tasting it. Think about that. You don't need to do anything like that, but we do it anyway because it's acceptable, because that's what we've been taught. And I was like, there's a right and wrong that's underlining everything. There is no per se right and wrong in this existence. I was like, you can follow laws, you can follow rules, you can follow, the outlined instructions, or you can see what's real for yourself. And he was like, it all comes down to what the truth is. And I was like, here's the thing though. I was like, I know the truth. And I was like, I don't really think there's too many people who do, because they're following a book. They're following the way they were brought up. And he's like, no, my beliefs come from, I was like, the way you're brought up? And he's like, no, from the books, from the Holy Scriptures I've read. I'm like, so that was the way you were brought up? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm not trying to put it down. I'm like, but that's just something you read and you accepted as reality. I'm like, same thing with everybody else. And I'm like, I even said to him, like, and you're right. I'm like, what you believe is true for you because you believe it. That's how it works. I'm like, so, because people think, fighting is wrong, but if you put two people in a ring and people pay for it and watch two people duke it out, it becomes okay. Killing is wrong, and having morbid thoughts is supposedly wrong. Watching a movie with horrible, gruesome death and being like, oh, you see the way his head got chopped off? That was awesome. That's okay, because it's acceptable. Even though it's morally wrong, it's acceptable. So, it just gets me under my skin a little bit when people start saying stuff like, well, that's just what I read in the scriptures. I'm like, where does it say in the scriptures that you're supposed to kill stuff and eat it? And even if it does in the scriptures, the person who wrote it just came from a personal opinion on animals. That's what it is. You don't have to kill and eat animals. There's no reason. Thou shalt not kill. It doesn't say people. It says kill. Shall not means you can't, because everything doesn't really die when you kill it. And animals do sign up for a difficult game. Not really sign up. You know what I'm trying to say. But the point is, there are morally right and wrong things, but when it comes to, I guess, this reality, there's nothing that's right and wrong. So, the point is, do whatever the hell you want, but realize that if you start getting cancer of the bladder or cancer of the pancreas or something in your stomach from the meat you eat, because your body's not meant to process it, I don't want to say I told you so, but I'm telling you so. So, think about what you're eating, and think about what you're doing, and think about morals. So, I just needed to say that and get it off my chest. It wasn't really that big of a weight, but I just got done with the conversation. I felt like he was angry because I think I made a point, and his teaching says something totally different, and he's listening to that his whole life. So, I'm not trying to disagree with what you believe, man, but to be like, oh yeah, it's a beautiful creature, beautiful, but I want to eat it. It doesn't make any sense at all. At all. And I don't care what a book says. Books don't mean anything. You can read any book and take it to heart and say that that's what reality is. Because there's tons of different holy books than just one. And he's going off of the, whatever Jehovah Witnesses read. It's not the same as the Bible. It may be. I don't know. And I'm not all that worried about it. I've studied all the different religions, but I realized that the more you study them, the more you may have a chance of falling into the trap of thinking that's what reality is. Because it's not. The person who wrote that book did a good job at trying to put his reality into words, and that's what they did. and enough people that followed it believe his reality, or her reality, or their reality, whoever it was that wrote it. They may have been coming from that I place, but they came from that I place with a little bit of personal opinion involved. And that's what's happening all over with all the gurus and every enlightened master from the beginning of time. They've all had a little bit of personal reflection on it. They have to. It's coming from their person, and they're deciding to stay here as a person to relay the message. The difference is I give out my ego completely, and I studied all the different religions. You know that each one is right but wrong, or right but not complete. Put it that way. So I'm not trying to say that I know things that people don't know, but I know it. I know that I do, so I have to say it. Whether I want to or not, I have to say it. I know things that people don't know, and they need to understand in order for their life to be complete. Or, when they die, they'll come back and they'll start over, go through more heartache, and more troubles, and more turmoil, and it's just going to happen over and over until they get it. It's not going to be that hard if they just open up their ears, open up their hearts, and listen, and feel.